According to the latest official estimate from Andriy Kovalenko, head of the Center for Countering Disinformation in Kyiv, the North Korean 11th Army Corps lost around 200 troops killed and wounded in a series of assaults targeting Ukrainian positions in western Russia's Kursk Oblast last weekend. At least a few of those casualties were inflicted by explosive first-person view drones wearing Christmas ornaments: a reindeer, a Santa, an elf, a bird. Videos of the festive drone strikes, conducted by the Ukrainian 8th Special Purpose Regiment, deployed to the southwestern edge of the 250-square-mile salient the Ukrainians carved out of Kursk back in August, appeared online on Tuesday. The Ukrainian drone operators' dark humor belies the deadly seriousness of their task. North Korean manpower significantly stiffened Russian assaults in Kursk, allowing the combined Russian-North Korean force to recapture the village of Plekhovo on the eastern edge of the salient after 3 costly infantry attacks last weekend. Altogether, the Russians and North Koreans have around 60,000 troops in and around Kursk. The Ukrainians have just 20,000. But attacking across open ground is always more dangerous than defending from dug-in positions, so the manpower imbalance only confers a slight advantage to the Russians and North Koreans. And that advantage could erode quickly if Russian and North Korean commanders don't adapt to Ukrainian methods. The initial assaults over the weekend involved dismounted infantry walking in neat lines across snowy fields without much apparent support from artillery or aircraft. The darkly camouflaged North Koreans stood out against the white snow, making them easy targets for Ukrainian FPV drones and cluster shells. It's cold comfort to the North Korean survivors that they at least didn't march into battle under the false impression that standing still can hide you from a nearby drone operator's unblinking gaze like savanna prey blending into the surrounding grass to escape a lion. The North Koreans have been observed diving out of the way of attacking drones, not always successfully. While some Russian trainees practice dodging incoming FPVs, sometimes with the help of a bizarre drone-on-a-rope training aid, others clearly have been instructed to freeze in place when they see or hear a drone approaching. There is ample evidence of Russian soldiers trying this tactic, and an equal amount of evidence it doesn't work. Drones' cameras are that good, and their operators are that skilled. Dodging may have saved a few North Koreans last weekend, but the 11th Army Corps' overall casualties were still startling high. It's apparent Russian commanders are eager to obscure the scale of the losses. Despite Russian attempts to hide North Korean failures through quick evacuation, videos of strikes on North Korean soldiers, their failures and their corpses are already in the public domain, Kovalenko stated. The North Korean Corps fighting alongside the Russian military in Kursk Oblast, in western Russia, may have lost 4% of its strength in a single battle along the eastern edge of the 250-square-mile salient that Ukrainian forces carved out of Kursk back in August, according to multiple sources including local journalists and government sources in Kyiv. Attacking in 3 waves across open fields outside the village of Plekhovo on Saturday, North Korean infantry eventually managed to eject the 100 Ukrainian troops holding the village. The assault may have involved more than 500 North Koreans, reportedly from the Democratic People's Republic of Korea's 92nd and 94th Separate Special Operations Brigades. Their casualties may have accounted for up to half of the soldiers involved, Ukrainian journalist Andriy Kovalenko reported. Videos and reporting from the weekend attacks around the Kursk salient, which involved a mix of Russian and North Korean troops, may explain how the North Koreans lost so many people. Maybe. The Ukrainian Center for Defense Strategies stressed that much of the information is being verified. The North Koreans apparently attacked in broad daylight, on foot, marching over mines under the watchful eyes of Ukrainian drones, and came under fire from drones and artillery. According to those who held the defense in the settlement of Plekhovo, the North Korean soldiers went to the assault en masse or, more precisely, in a crowd, Zaplienko reported. Ukrainian fighters repelled the first wave of attacks, Zaplienko added. But then there was a second and a third wave. After the surviving Ukrainians retreated to the west and the smoke cleared, trucks hauled away potentially hundreds of dead and wounded North Koreans together, representing a significant percentage of the approximately 12,000-person North Korean 11th Army Corps deployed north of the Kursk salient. For all their losses around Plekhovo, the North Koreans at least gained some ground. The results on the opposite side of the salient may have been less encouraging for Pyongyang's army as it fights its first major war in decades. The Ukrainian 17th Heavy Mechanized Brigade, holding the line on the western edge of the salient, claimed it inflicted considerable losses on the enemy, possibly including North Koreans. The brigade doesn't seem to have given up much ground. The mass assaults by North Korean infantry are all part of Russian commanders' plan, according to Andriy Kovalenko, the head of the Ukrainian Center for Countering Disinformation. The Russians are betting on numbers, Kovalenko wrote. How long the North Korean 11th Army Corps can sustain an attritional attack strategy is unclear. The Corps may have buried, or sent to the hospital, one of out every 25 of the soldiers under its command just last weekend.